Looks like she's in pain after that pass. She had been dealing most recently with a groin injury.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're diving into a topic that has the entire basketball world buzzing, and definitely not in a good way. Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever superstar and the WNBA's biggest attraction, is officially out of the 2025 All-Star Game and three-point contest because of a groin injury. The ripple effects are absolutely massive. The incident that sparked all this came from a controversial play involving Jacy Sheldon of the Connecticut Sun. Some fans are calling it a cheap shot, while others argue it's just tough, physical basketball. But one thing remains clear. Clark's absence from All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis has sent shockwaves through the league, with millions of fans potentially tuning out in disappointment. So let's break it all down. What happened, why it's such a big deal, and what this means for the WNBA's future moving forward. Buckle up, because this one is wild, dramatic, and bigger than you might think. Let's start.
Shannon defense by the Sparks fans. 6 on the shot clock. Clark, a deep three. Oop, that is. She missed her first 7.
It was Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. In the final minute of the Indiana Fever's 85-77 win over the Connecticut Sun in Boston, Caitlin Clark, the Fever's second-year phenom, was doing what she does best, driving the ball, creating plays, and pushing the pace. She delivered a slick bounce pass to teammate Kelsey Mitchell for a layup with just 39.1 seconds left. But as she made that pass, something went terribly wrong. Clark suddenly grabbed her right thigh, clearly in pain, and hobbled toward the bench. In frustration, she banged her head against a stanchion, draped a towel over her head, and sat out the rest of the game. The official diagnosis, a right groin injury, one that would force her to miss not only the Fever's next matchup against the New York Liberty, but also the entire WNBA All-Star Weekend, including both the three-point contest and the All-Star Game, where she had been voted captain. Here's where things really get heated. Some fans and analysts quickly pointed fingers at Jacy Sheldon, the Connecticut Sun guard who was defending Clark during the play. Social media, especially on X, erupted with claims that Sheldon had delivered a cheap shot that contributed to the injury. One post from @CoachType Walker even called it a criminal action, demanding Sheldon be banned from the WNBA. Another user @OldHeadHoops pointed to an earlier June 17th game where Sheldon struck Clark in the face, suggesting a troubling pattern of overly physical play. But let's be real, there's no definitive evidence that Sheldon's actions directly caused a groin injury. The play was certainly physical, but groin injuries often come from sudden movements, awkward landings, or overextension, like making a pass or cutting sharply. Clark herself hasn't publicly blamed Sheldon, and the Fever's official statement only mentioned the injury occurring during the game, without referencing a specific foul. Still, the narrative around Sheldon's physicality isn't new. The WNBA has already been under scrutiny this season for inconsistent officiating, particularly when it comes to protecting star players like Clark. A Washington Post article even noted that Clark took a knee to the abdomen from Sheldon in that same game, an incident that went uncalled by referees. This has fueled a much broader conversation about whether the league is doing enough to keep its most valuable players safe. Players and coaches, from Becky Hammond to Stephanie White, have voiced ongoing frustration over erratic officiating, with Clark often bearing the brunt of aggressive defenses. Fever coach Stephanie White even remarked that the league's physicality is at an all-time high and that Clark has been forced to adjust to being practically mauled on the court. Whether Sheldon's defense truly crossed a line or not, the optics are undeniably bad. Clark, the league's golden goose, is sidelined, and fans are furious. So, why does this injury matter so much? Caitlin Clark isn't just any player. She's the WNBA's biggest ratings draw, a cultural phenomenon driving unprecedented ticket sales and viewership. The 2025 All-Star Game was supposed to be her grand moment, her first time captaining a team in her home city of Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The entire weekend was built around her presence. From a 30-story banner on the JW Marriott to her face on Gatorade ads and Eli Lilly billboards, Clark was a centerpiece. She was also supposed to headline the three-point contest, showcasing the deep shooting range that has made her a fan favorite. Her absence is a gut punch, not only for the Fever, but for the entire WNBA. The numbers tell the story. Clark led all players with a record-breaking 1,293,526 fan votes for the All-Star Game, surpassing Nafisa Collier's 1,176,020. 7 of the 8 most-watched WNBA games this season featured the Fever, and league-wide viewership is up 9% compared to 2024. But here's the kicker. When Clark doesn't play, the numbers nosedived as Sportico Analysis reported a 38% drop in the Fever's social media engagement and an 80% plunge in TikTok views per post whenever Clark was sidelined earlier this season. Ticket prices for the All-Star Game dropped 48% on the secondary market after news of her injury, with StubHub listing getting prices as low as $65 on game day. Last year's All-Star Game, featuring Clark and Angel Reese against Team USA, drew 3.44 million viewers, a 139% jump from the previous record. Without Clark, the 2025 event risks falling short of that mark, even with the addition of its new 4-point shot rule tailor-made for her long-range brilliance. And then came the game itself. Team Clark, still captained by her despite her absence, got blown out by Team Collier, 151-131. Nafisa Collier dropped a record 36 points to earn MVP honors, while Skylar Diggins recorded the first triple-double in All-Star history with 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 15 assists. It was a high-scoring defense-light showcase, much like recent NBA All-Star games. But make no mistake, the absence of Clark's star power was deeply felt that Clark's teammates Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell stepped up, and Sabrina Ionescu was a standout with her sharpshooting. Still, the game lacked the electric buzz and excitement it surely would have had with Clark on the court. Fans on X, like user Betty Meadows, expressed disappointment but continued praising the skills challenge and the three-point contest where Ionescu and Natasha Cloud shine brightly. Clark, ever the ultimate team player, remained courtside, helping coach alongside Sandy Brondello and even drawing up plays for her teammates. But despite her presence, her absence on the floor left a noticeable void that couldn't be ignored. This injury isn't just a one-game problem. It's a symptom of a much bigger issue for Clark and the entire WNBA. This is already her 4th injury of the season, a stark contrast to her Iron Woman days at Iowa and her rookie year, when she never missed a single game. She has already sat out 11 games, including the Commissioner's Cup final, due to 2 quad injuries, a lingering hand issue, and now this painful groin problem. Her current stats, 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, 8.8 assists, but with a career-low 37.7% field goal percentage and 27.9% from 3, show that she's been grinding through pain almost every night. Clark herself admitted to Glamour that this is the first time she hasn't felt like a young body that can just keep going endlessly. The mental toll is very real, too. She's spoken openly about the stress of constant scrutiny and the grind of an unforgiving schedule, often relying on extra sleep and comfort movies like The Parent Trap to decompress and reset. The WNBA's growth is at a critical turning point. A $2.2 billion media rights deal kicks in next year, and the league is expanded to 18 teams by 2030, starting with the Golden State Valkyries. But Clark's injuries highlight a deeper concern: the league's relentless schedule and extreme physical demands. Players like Breanna Stewart have called out the compressed 44-game season, arguing it leaves little to no room for proper recovery. The current collective bargaining agreement, set to expire on October 31st, 2025, is already a hot-button topic, with players wearing "pay us what you owe us" shirts during warm-ups to demand better salaries, benefits, and conditions. Clark's absence in the All-Star Game, combined with injuries to other stars like Sada Sabali and Aya Wilson, underscores the urgent need for better player protection and adequate rest. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: the millions potentially tuning out. It might sound dramatic, but it's not entirely wrong. Clark's star power undeniably drives viewership, and her absence risks dampening the WNBA's rapidly building momentum.